Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Mishal Saeed, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we're thrilled to have Dr. Lily Binglow, the founder and CEO of the Arc NPS, joining us. Dr. Lily is an experienced CPA, MBA professor, TEDx speaker who empowers businesses and nonprofits with financial clarity and strategic growth through her nationwide accounting and coaching firm. We'll explore her founding story, how the Arc NPS is transforming financial systems, and what the vision looks like for scaling this impactful firm. So let's dive in. Dr. Lily, welcome to Founders Future.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure having you on. Take us back to the beginning. What specific problem within the accounting and financial planning landscape inspired you to actually launch the Arc NPS?
Okay. I actually started wanting to work with nonprofits. I've always been passionate about people who want to serve a greater community and doing it so selflessly. But I would notice that there were so many gaps because when people want to serve or give back to a community, they have the heart to do it. They put in the work, the time, their resources. But there's these gaps in information that can help them be more effective, right? And not get in trouble with Uncle Sam. So when I initially started the firm, the Arc NPS, which represents the Ark of the Covenant, and which is the Ark, the Noah's Ark, yes, Noah's Ark, which represents preservation, right? And I wanted to help these companies, these nonprofit organizations, get the support that they need to be effective at what they do. So not just starting their organizations, but also getting everything they need to scale, to grow. And the big part of it is always having your financial stuff in order. And so once I started focusing just on nonprofits, business owners would come up to me and say, hey, we need someone like you. We need a CPA like you. You're very knowledgeable, because who serves on the board of nonprofits? Business owners and individuals. And so we started to expand to serving businesses. And now we serve 80% businesses and only like 20% nonprofits. But the goal still didn't change. And it was still to close the gaps. Having grown up in a home where my mom was an entrepreneur and meeting so many entrepreneurs in my journey while I was still in corporate, there was always the lack of information, and people struggled, and they always felt like they couldn't understand what their CPAs were telling them. And I wanted to be able to close that gap, the need, the desire, the hunger to give people what they need to be more effective, to give them systems to help them get their books in order so they can take things to the next level, was really the heart behind it all. That's how we ended up being here.
Wow, I love it. That's incredible. You're doing some good work, really empowering a lot of businesses with financial literacy from what it sounds like. And I just wanted to clarify more for the listeners. You mentioned 80% of, who you help. Is it the nonprofits or is it business? I just also
business owners. So we are a full service accounting firm. So we provide everything from startup services to accounting services, bookkeeping, tax preparation, tax consulting, planning, strategizing, and even payroll. So we are a full service firm, but we serve now 80% businesses and only 20% nonprofits. What I said was, when we started, the focus was to be the CPA firm for nonprofits. And then it turned around that there was such a need for us in the business world. And now we serve predominantly businesses.
I love that. And so I want to break that down a little bit, get into the nuts and bolts for the listeners, even potential clients that may actually want to work with you once this episode does air. What is the core offer here as far as really like a bulk of your business and what's really driving that? And how do you structure it for your clients? And then, of course, your ideal client, because I know you mentioned some of the small businesses that you work with. Is there a niche or vertical that you specialize in? So it's a bit of a multi-part question, but I'd love for you to break that down for us.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for asking that. Our main offers here is our full service packages. So starting with the new entrepreneur, the person who is starting out, has a great idea, wants to set up right. Okay. Unlike just going online and registering a business, we usually commit to them for a year. So we set up their businesses, we do their tax services, we provide tax planning, business strategizing. So we provide support for a year. So that's one offer. So you have the business startups based on the kind of business that they want to register. If they have to become an S corp at some point, we will do the election. So they get like a full support for a year. If we have any state filings that need to be filed, that's included. So it's a full offer for someone who is registering the business. So they don't register and get stuck. They have support through, at least for the first year, to get them running. Then now we have the accounting services for existing businesses. And this is where we're providing monthly bookkeeping for them. So every month they're getting financial statements. They know exactly where their business is at. They get quarter review. So we look at their numbers, we plan, we strategize, we get their taxes done as well. And the big part, and where we really set ourselves company apart, is the fact that when we do taxes for business owners, they get an hour of complimentary tax planning and tax strategizing. So for someone who needs that kind of support and comes to us, when we do your taxes, we get a good picture of where you are in your business, and we're able to put a plan now for you to make sure that you don't end up in the same place where you were, especially if you're paying a lot of taxes. So and then in those services too, we offer payroll services. And then for those that need any kind of support with the IRS, we do get a power of attorney sign, and we can take care of that for them on their behalf. So existing businesses also get a full service, right? So you have those that are starting, and then you have those existing businesses. And then we do a lot of tax planning and tax strategizing for people who are either set up as a corporation, partnership, because these people, their taxes can be a little bit complex. And when they don't have someone who can simplify the information and give it to them to be able to apply to their business, that's where they struggle. So as we serve startups and we serve existing businesses, we do a lot of advisory services too, where we're helping existing businesses to plan, to take advantage of tax strategies that are available for them. Sometimes when you're done with a client, they're like, wait, I didn't know this was even possible, if this is legal. But that's because they've not had someone to simplify the tax code for them like that. And so that's a huge part, especially now in the summer. That's mostly what I'm doing, where I'm putting plans together for these clients, breaking it down, showing them how to hire their kids, for example, and that kind of stuff. Now, I want to add something that is a big part of our offer that many firms don't do. For people that set up businesses, when we set up a partnership, we have to go over, it's like a 4-hour training where we go through all the ins and out of what it would take to run your partnership. And people don't have that, right? And so by the time we're done, you always have two outcomes. One, the people are going, you know what? Now that we know more, I think this is what we do. Or the second one is, nah, we didn't understand what it was going to entail. And maybe a partnership is not for us. Maybe I can just invest, or we can support each other, or I could hire my friend to work, but we don't necessarily have to go into a partnership because now they understand the intricacies. So that's a big part of what we do. And then we provide a similar thing for nonprofits. So people who are setting up nonprofits, just like we do with the business startups, they have a full year of support, and we train their board members, which is, again, the kind of stuff you don't find anywhere. So not only are we registering your nonprofit, we're empowering your board members, because they're the ones that make decisions for your organization, right? So we're empowering them with the knowledge to help you make quality decisions, but also to help you fundraise and support the success of your nonprofit, because people don't know. People just ask their friends to serve on their nonprofit board, and they would say yes, but they don't know that there's work involved in that. And when we do that, we get them to commit even more. Or we have people say, no, this is too much work, I can't do it. So we provide that kind of support as well for nonprofits that are starting up, for existing nonprofits, full service accounting, payroll, and we do their taxes as well. Yes.
Awesome. So from what it sounds like, I appreciate you breaking that down for us, really giving clarity to the audience and the listeners today. It's a full year of working with you on the tax planning side of things, business strategy, setting up that S Corp as well, and finding out exactly how businesses can financially structure what they need so that they can in a tax advantage position, essentially, is what it sounds like. As far as really scaling goes, obviously with your fulfillment model in place, there are inherent constraints. So you can only take on a certain number of clients if you're working with them for a year. How are you thinking about scaling and productizing your offer in a way to where it is like effective and manageable? What's your take there? What does that next step look like for you as a founder?
I love that. I love that. I say, with everything that we do, you always have to ask yourself, what are the services that I can have someone else do? And what are some things that I'm the only one who can do? Right? And if you have to ever scale, you must be able to identify those things that someone else can do, and what only you can do. Okay. Like right now, talking to you, I can never outsource this. I have to show up. And
Yeah.
so when it comes to growth and what has been working, is really for the services that my team members can do. I allow us to do more promotions in those areas and take on more clients. Now, when it comes to the part where, people want to meet with me because they've met with me somewhere, or they only want to do tax planning with me, I only have a few hours, right? So I can only do so many people. That at that point, there's a little bit more of a streamlining when it comes to that. And I'll tell you, Michelle, I haven't been in business for quite a while. I don't work with everybody. I don't. Like when I started out, I was saying yes to everybody. And maybe I'm just going to go ahead and say that was one of the issues I had. And now that has changed because I work with the people that really value what I do, the knowledge that I bring, and I'm also willing to implement, right? And so that really changes everything. And between me and you, there's not too many people that do that. So it's usually a good number for me to manage. And then everything else that my other team members can do, I have amazing team members and they've been trained to do those. I allow them to handle that so we can scale on those. For example, bookkeeping, right? We have really good accountants that are doing bookkeeping on our team. I don't have to do that. That's something that you can scale on. Not every client necessarily needs to have me as their CPA if they already have a CPA who just, needs them to have bookkeeping done and then their books are brought to them. So it comes down to that. When it comes to scaling the services that others can do, we push that more. The ones that I do, especially like the tax planning, tax strategizing for specific clients, I keep that at a reasonable number. Yeah.
Okay, I'd love for you to share a little bit your perspective. Are you looking to scale this on a global scale or keeping this more like tight-knit boutique? What's your take as a founder?
Oh my God, that's a good one. So, yes, on certain services, like I said, and no on others. And let me say why. Because I'm licensed, there's a lot that comes with being licensed.
Yeah.
And if something goes wrong, I am liable.
Mm,
So I cannot outsource anything that has my name on it. You see
right.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But for our other services, oh
Mm,
yes. Like we do have clients, not only we serve all 50 states in the US, and we even have clients out of the, in fact, some of our biggest clients are in Africa. So we have clients all over, even in Europe. We have people that we provide tax services for, advisory services for. We register businesses for clients all over the world, and nonprofits too. We do all of that for them. So those services we continue to scale. But for anything that has to do with me specifically and my signature, you understand what I'm saying? I can't do too much on that part because then I become because of the liability issues with that. Yes.
Okay, no, that makes sense. So building on your growth, talk to us a little bit about how you're currently acquiring some of your clients right now. What are some of those strategies and channels, whether it's paid ads, LinkedIn, social media, organic, what's working best as far as like generating leads?
We've tried all kinds of stuff. You've been in business, you've tried stuff.
Yeah.
I will tell you the two that have worked the best, and I can back it up any day. Referrals. Every time clients refer us, a couple of things happen. First, they are referring from a place of knowing, and they're referring because they have results. But not only that, they already know the kind of client that I would work with. So they refer a client that I would likely work with. So that has been one of the best sources of just getting the kind of clientele that I like. And then the second one has been from sharing knowledge, information, from teaching. I love to teach. I love to teach. I met with a client the other day and he said, I literally watched every single video of yours on YouTube. I was like, what? And they don't even have social media. So they're probably not even going to be able to see this, but they could see that on YouTube. So I would say these two things. Now, there are other things that are great, like Google reviews and social media ads. But these ones, when people know that you know what you're talking about, because you could use AI and put something online that you can back up. But when people know that you really know what you're talking about, they can trust that if they come to you, they're going to get the desired results, right? That they're seeking. And if someone refers them to you and this person can vouch, especially if they trust that person, they come to me ready to work. So they're not coming to me to question if I'm good or I'm not good because somebody already did all of that for me. So these two have been the best. I encourage other entrepreneurs to really be intentional about excellence, about doing good work, because it would speak for itself. Now,
Mm.
there are people that will still not know you, even if you do good work, right? And you have to leverage other things like marketing, social media marketing, advertising. I've done TV ads, I've done all of that. But you were asking me what has worked best. And I would say these two have been one of the best: sharing knowledge and client referrals.
Mhm. I'm actually curious to get your perspective on this, especially with referrals, right?
Yes.
They're the most high intent leads and they're very easy to close as far as like the trust factor being there and then they coming from an existing client, but it's not always the most predictable form of lead generation, right?
True.
Because it's consistent or reliable, especially if the referral pipeline does dry out, then what do you do as a founder? I'm
Yes.
curious, what are some of the ways that you're thinking about building predictability on the lead gen side in your business? Are you looking at things like paid ads, other avenues to build that predictability? What's your thought process there?
So I have always believed in paid ads. I think every business owner should invest in paid ads,
Yeah.
right? For me, there's no other way about it. I feel like everyone should. Your advertising is, it's like one of those machines you must oil. And I
Yeah.
know business owners kind of wing that.
Yeah.
I would never be one of those people. I truly believe that
Mm.
we have to leverage these platforms that give us opportunity to put ourselves out there and pay them for that. That's what advertising would do. Now, in my opinion, the referrals, like you said, they're not always guaranteed. And that's
Yeah.
the truth. So you can lean on referrals for sustainable business growth. Now,
Mm.
they are good in terms of closing, like you said, easy to close, really good. But I
Yeah.
would say the thing I have seen in recent years has
Mm.
been sharing knowledge. I have seen that that continues to bring clientele. Of course, when you share the knowledge and then you leverage paid ads to put it out there in front of people, right? Because this is people seeing the paid ads, because the paid ads is just going to bring people to you that you would normally not have access to. Because if I sit in my house and I stick with just my local community, there are a
Yeah.
lot of people in the world that need what I do and they don't know that I exist. But if I
Yeah.
were to take my knowledge and I pay for ads to put it out there in front of the people that could be looking for it, that
Mm.
could definitely bring continuous business. And for that, I believe in it. And I would encourage every entrepreneur to always have a budget for
Mm.
marketing. I do that with our clients. When they come to me and I don't see a marketing budget, I'm like, how do you plan to grow? Now, there
Yeah.
are certain businesses that don't need it because of how niche they are, and maybe they have one or two clients that pay for everything.
Yeah.
But for anyone who's in the service space, especially if you constantly need clients, you need to be able to pay for advertising. You need to have a budget for that. Like
Yeah.
for me, there's no brainer about it. You need to. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an absolute necessity, especially if you're looking at scaling and growing. So from what it
Yes.
sounds like, that's the next step for you as a founder is really implementing a lead engine to where you can scale and grow. Paid advertising kind of being one of the avenues is what you're looking at, right?
Yes. Yes.
Love that.
And we do quite a few. We leverage some of the social media advertising, and even we've done Google. And so some things I put them on hold because I've been so busy. But as I get back to shooting more content, as I do a lot of, I love teaching. So I love to teach online.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go back to really pushing this information out. And you know what's interesting, Misha?
Yeah.
I love what I do so much that the money part, I've just seen that it would come if you do.
It
If you
would
give people the
happen.
information, it's like the money comes, right? When you add value to what people are doing, it really comes, and the paid ads helps you to reach more people. It
Yeah.
really does. And I just want to keep doing more of that as we grow. Yes.
What's been the experience as a founder thus far with paid ads? What have the results yielded? I know right now they're on pause right now, but what's been your experience like personally with getting some of those results?
You know what I would say? If you have systems in place. So if you're running an ad and you know specifically what you're looking for, or who you want to attract, and you have the right system in place to get those people on board, it can yield really good results. I would take, for example, when we've done Google ads and it's brought us so many clients.
Hmm.
Now, the ads is one thing, but what also helped us was the fact that we had the reviews to back it up. So once you run ads, I think if you actually have the reviews, you have something that people can rely on. So it's not just about seeing that you're here, but can we trust that if we come to you, you can do the work, right? So having that and then having a good system in place. Like when we run ads, okay, we do have complimentary meetings that are scheduled for people to come on board and ask questions. And sometimes for us, it's not just about them coming to work with us. It's just we want to answer questions for them, right? Complimentary, free. And people like that. And then later on, it turns into business. So I think having a good system in place for when you run ads so that when people come looking for you, they actually do find you. And then having ways to show them too that you can deliver the results that you're advertising that you can.
I feel like oftentimes as founders, even with paid ads, there's a lot of things on the optimization front that we're focused on. Maybe some results are not delivering, CPLs being too high, CAC being too high. What is one aspect of the ad side that you're focused on optimizing before you do turn it back on?
Wait, come back. I think I missed two things you said. Can you just say that again, please?
Yeah, no worries. Oftentimes, as founders, especially with ads, there are a lot of things we have to focus on optimizing, right? CAC being too high, CPL being too high. Before you guys turn ads back on, what are you guys focused on optimizing there as far as making sure that it is consistent for you?
The content part.
Mm,
That's actually what we want to work on. The content part, having the right video content that is going to captivate people.
yeah,
When I teach, I do long videos. I think I need to do more the shorter videos as well that
yeah,
can get people have very short attention spans.
yeah,
So I think the area we want to maybe I don't know if I'm answering that, but it's to work on the actual information that we're going to be putting out
yeah.
in these ads. We do have a team. I have an amazing team that is going to take care of the tech part because I'm not a tech person. Like getting all of that set up, I don't really know how to set it up myself.
Yeah,
But my part is to make sure that I do have the right content, since the goal is to add value more than it is even to sell, because the value, of course, brings the people that we're
yeah,
looking for. So my part here is to make sure that I am really creating the kind of videos and the kind of content that people want to see. It's knowledge space. If you're a business owner and you have multiple businesses, or you have an S corp and you're looking for someone to help you save 100 and up thousand in taxes, you're not just looking for someone who is giving you quick strategies on Facebook or Instagram. You want someone that is really knowledgeable, someone
yeah.
that can help you leverage the tax code and they know what they're doing. So it's about creating that kind of content, and but not making it too long as well, and such that it can captivate those kind of people and hopefully convert them to
Yeah.
clients.
100%. And that's one of the biggest things, especially in the TikTok era, the Instagram era, when the
Oh
content
my
doesn't
God.
resonate and it's too long, you're going to lose your core audience at the end of the
Yes.
day.
Yes.
For you as a founder, what's been challenging about making that shift, making sure your content resonates with your audience? Talk to us a little bit about what's been that experience like navigating that.
I'm still learning. I'm still learning because I love to teach. I love to teach, and I like to break things
Mm,
down in the ways that people can understand. And
yeah.
so I could speak really fast, but I
Mm,
want to make sure that you get it. And
yeah.
so I'm learning. Like sometimes I will shoot a video, and I'm a one-time person. Like I don't need to shoot a video twice. So
Yeah.
when I shoot a video, I can just go. I could teach for an hour because I
Yeah.
know this stuff. But then now having to really give just the right amount in an amount of in a short enough time that they
Yeah.
don't lose focus,
Yeah.
but it adds value, because at the end of the day it's not for them. I don't want it to be a bait.
Yeah.
Not like I want to give you something, even if you never came to work with us, it
Yeah.
can impact your business. So
Yeah.
I'm still learning how to do 30 seconds. They do take some of my content and break it, but sometimes it can be challenging if the actual information is not just covered in 30 seconds. So I would say I'm learning.
Like, I know, absolutely. As a founder, we have to be open to those perspectives. So it sounds like, is this an area where you feel like you need some new ideas, maybe like an expert to help out, show you exactly how do you optimize your content before you can turn on ads and make sure that performs optimally to where it needs to be?
Yes, I did. I actually do have a consultant that I hired that I'm working with right now, and he's been on my case, which is really great to see the things that he points out. Like he watches my stuff and he's pointing out, no, we want you to put it to this level. And I'm open to that. Like I tell people, we don't know it all, right? I'm great with my tax stuff, my planning,
Yeah,
like advising. I'm good with that. Like you bring the numbers, I got it.
yeah,
But when it comes to the social media part, as much as I'm good with, I'm not scared to shoot content. I love to speak, I love to talk, but it's bringing in someone who can say, okay, this is how you can say this in a
mhm,
short amount of time. I'm a big believer in leveraging professionals, in hiring
yeah,
the right people for the
yeah,
areas that you need help with. I don't shy away from that. I think
yeah.
everyone should hire someone to help them in those areas where they are not strong.
Yeah, 100%. And I love that because that's the type of advice that resonates with the listeners and the audience needs to hear that.
Yes.
Oftentimes founders take on too much on themselves and
Yes.
have a way to delegate. Now, no, I love that. I love that you share that. Now, as far as sales goes, what does that look like? Is it just you as a solopreneur handling all the sales calls? Do you have a sales team in place handling certain components? How is all of that currently structured right now?
It's tricky. Okay. So we have a team, right? There, I have employees and all of that. A lot of our services does not really need much of me being involved.
Hmm.
So once clients uh see what they're looking for, they look us up online and they come to us. I already have people that would handle that, take the calls and deal with all of that. Now, when it comes to now for certain services, like I said,
Mhm.
like people who just want to do basic taxes, for example, and that kind of stuff. Now, if someone is looking for high level strategizing or some business planning, I would normally do a 15 minutes call with them. Again, these are very specific people that I'm working with. So I do a 15 minutes complimentary call to just understand what their situation is. I don't really call it a sales call. It's a discovery call for both of us because I want them to know me if they're going to be entrusting me with their business. And I want to know them too if I really want to work with them, right? But
Yeah,
everything else is pretty straightforward with us. Once someone is looking for services we offer, especially if they've been referred or they found us online, they usually reach out. For the most part, I do a lot of those 15 minutes meetings, but I have other team members that do them as well. We really don't come on to sell. Like we make sure that we come on to figure out who we're
mhm,
meeting, if this is a potential. And if it's good, that the closing out is usually easy because the difference with us is we don't have to tell you the problem you have. Usually people come to us because they already have a problem. You see what I'm saying? And so
yeah,
here, the only thing they want to know is, can I trust you? Will
mm,
you be able to deliver? And now with social media, people and with the internet, everyone goes online and they would read reviews before they even come. So
right.
if we were trying to sell something where we have to convince you that you have a problem and you need it, maybe that's where we would work differently. I hope you understand what I mean. But for
Yeah,
us, when someone is coming, you usually have people coming when they've received a letter from the IRS or they registered a business and they screwed it over, or they're ready to start a business and they really want to talk to someone because they want to set it up right.
yeah,
And or they are ready to scale and they need their books done. They're behind. Someone needs to talk to a CPA because they don't understand something. Maybe they want to qualify for R&D credits. So a lot of times when they're coming, they already have a problem. And the one thing they're looking for is not someone to be salesy to them per se, but more like to establish trust. Um,
mm,
so I think that's what makes us sometimes different from other businesses, if
yeah.
that helps. Yes.
100%. Really building rapport at the end of the day, really making sure
Yes.
you can actually serve them. And if you can't, then it's probably going to be outsourced to someone else at the end of the day.
Yes, it's very different. And I have conversations like that even with our clients and some friends. And for most people, they would have a sale. Before we had a 2 or 3 sales team that would go to networking events. And we realized that again, it comes down to trust in our space.
Yeah,
Because we're not dealing with products. Before someone is going to entrust you with their finances, they
yeah,
need to know that they can trust you. And so we focus on doing that, on building that trust and letting them know that we truly value what they do and we would want to support them in the best way possible. And when they
yeah,
feel that way, everything else is easy. And you want to work with people that want to work with you.
yeah. From what it sounds like, your growth has been incredible. If there was like a bottleneck that stood out, what would it be? Is it attracting the right types of leads, figuring out the lead gen side of things, building more of that, expanding your sales team, figure out that process, maybe even improving conversions? What are you most focused on to keep the momentum going this year?
You know what? I tell you, books, my books. I want to, because a lot of the stuff I share with our clients, they love it, right? I mean, all I'm doing is really simplifying the tax code and helping them implement it. But there are a lot of people that will never have the opportunity to meet with me, right? And so I want to make sure that they can still get access to this information. So that's something that I've always dragged on with, but I want to do a lot more now. I'm almost done. I'm doing 2 books. One of them is for couples that are in business, going into that in a partnership. So it's called Vows to Ventures, which is a book for couples, married couples in business. And then the other one is how to hire your kids and build a legacy. So I'm really breaking down a ton of the stuff that I already share with clients. That's the part that I want to do more of. My heart is really to help the entrepreneurs. I want to do that. It's such a, I'm here with a purpose. For me, it's beyond money at this point. It's how many more people can I help? Can I simplify information for? And then the next thing that I'm really excited about for this year is the next generation of accountants. There's a shortage of CPAs, like a huge shortage of CPAs.
Yeah.
And being an accounting professor, and I see just the struggle that is in the industry and really trying to empower the next generation of accountants to become CPAs so they can serve the marketplace like I'm doing. I'm sure you've seen it online, the director for the Masters of Accounting program at Regent University. And my goal is really to empower the next generation of CPAs. They can be out here serving the marketplace and empowering entrepreneurs, just like I'm doing with the right information so they can succeed. Because we're one unit. And to me, those are the 2 things that are big on my heart. Putting the information that I already share with clients in the hands of many more people, and definitely helping more people become CPAs.
Yeah, 100%. I love that. Giving back, really shaping that next generation from what it
Yes.
sounds like. And last question before we do wrap up, what's the best way for potential clients to get in touch with you, Dr. Lily?
Oh, yes. So they can visit our website is www.arcnps.com, and ARC is ARKNPS.com. And I usually offer complimentary meetings, 15 minutes. And so even if they don't necessarily need to work with us, if they have a question, I tell everyone, come ask me. You don't have to be a client to use this. And I think this has been just incredible in supporting the small business world for people who may not be able to afford to pay for an hour of my time, right? They can still leverage this. And trust me, 15 minutes with me, you're going to get so much. You would think you had a full hour. They can email me as well, Lily, and that is Lilly at arcnps.com. And they can call our office, and the number is 757-977-8911. Any of these, you'll be able to get me. And then, of course, I'm on social media. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. I need to up my Instagram game, but I show up there every now and then. And yeah, if they can, they can subscribe to get some of my newsletters Beyond the Numbers, where I get to share a lot of motivational and inspiring content, hopefully to see more business owners winning.
I love that. Last question, real quick. If we brought a genie in the room, you snap your fingers, and all of a sudden he gives you unlimited resources, what would you implement immediately to accelerate the growth of your company? And that's just a fun question I just made up.
Put me in a place where I could get all the business owners that have LLCs to be able to listen to me, teach them how to transition to S Corps and leverage it for their growth. That's the only, you know what, I forgot to say, that's one area in our business that I would love to see grow. Having more business owners transition from just being single member LLCs to becoming S Corps so that they can make the most of the tax code. That's if it's applicable to them. So yes, if a genie could do that, I'll say, look, bring them, because they're missing out on so much. And I would love to help many more business owners take advantage of becoming an S Corp. That's if it's applicable to them, of course. But it's so much they can do. And I feel like it breaks my heart when I see them
not doing that.
not doing that. Yes, that part, that part.
There you guys have it. On that note, Dr. Lily said it herself. Thank you so much for joining us today. That wraps up an inspiring episode of Founders Future. Of course, you can check out Dr. Lily at arcnps.com to explore more about their accounting and coaching services, and follow Dr. Lily on LinkedIn. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And you can also visit us here over at closers.io. We're dedicated to helping businesses accelerate their growth through trained appointment setters and world-class marketing systems. So until then, everyone, keep climbing, and we'll see you all on the next one. Dr. Lily, it was a pleasure having you on once again.